welcome to the new edition of The Guide on this fine day, also known as Donut Day.
There's donuts everywhere.
They're propagating like bunnies. I don't know how it's happening, but we've been enjoying it. So if we seem a little extra hyper today, that's because we have a lot of donuts and a lot of sugar. Some of them are Krispy Kreme, some of them are Dunkin' Donuts, and they're just like crazy, and it's going all through my head.
That was like one big word.
Did you like that?
Yeah. So what we want to do today, we're going to take a look at the new release of Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and also... sad news, Guitar Hero is no more.
Yeah,
and then we're going to take a second peek at Bulletstorm, really not the game, but more of...
the media response.
Yes, the media response. People are saying it's, quote, worst video game in the world.
That was shocking. So. Trust, we'll get to that. It's very interesting. And also I'm wearing a beanie today because I wanted to be more like Will.
Well, thank you. I'm flattered.
As you should be. Starting off with Marvel vs. Capcom 3. It's been 10 years since one of the great arcade games left arcades. Arcades don't exist anymore. But they're releasing Marvel vs. Capcom 3. MVC 2 was in arcades about 10 years ago. Do you realize that was back with the PlayStation 1, the N64, the Dreamcast, when people would go spend quarters at the arcade? So it's been a long time.
That's archaic.
That is archaic. Good one. But what are your thoughts so far on the new one?
The new Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Fate of Two Worlds.
Dun dun dun.
Yes, that already. Wow. The storyline, Doctor Doom assembled the greatest villains of the Marvel Universe. Very much like your typical fighter game, Mortal Kombat, Tekken, that kind of stuff. It's gonna be that with Marvel and Capcom characters once again, but it's they're gonna have the 3-dimensional game levels, so you'll be able to go all around, which kind of just confuses me all the time. Like, why can't I hit him? Oh, I'm not standing next to him.
The right plane of existence.
And 3 other features that I found kind of cool for a fighter game to have. They've got these different modes. There's simple mode that allows you to really kind of grasp the game. And
if you're someone who likes Super Smash Brothers Brawl or like an easy fighter like this, that mode is very comparable to that. If you're someone like me where you just hit the same button over and over, come on! That will be the mode for you, because I can't do the whole twice in the right direction, X Y, once to the left, up down,
half spin,
Y B, half spin, boom! I got the one punch combo, so I can't do that.
That's a really difficult combo for one punch.
Hence my problem with fighting games. Carry on.
And then also we're gonna have a mission mode in this one, which features kind of prepares you to play against other people, and then a shadow mode, which lets you battle against the AI. So there is a lot of single player action that you can do, but it's mainly a multiplayer game.
Yeah, and you will be able to play online as well.
And moving on, the era of Guitar Hero has faded.
It's over.
It's
the
just
axe got the axe. Man, I'm coming up with all kinds of good ones today. Yes.
Way to go.
Thank you.
I'll give you a gold star when we get done here.
Yeah, good. Carry on.
But I think Guitar Hero, much like music on the radio, fads come and go.
Yeah.
And I think it's just time for it to die.
Well, you know, it came out about 5 years ago, 2006, when Guitar Hero from Activision first came out. And of course, Harmonix, which actually worked on the first Guitar Hero game, eventually went on to make Rock Band. And they're in trouble as well. They recently got sold off by Viacom, so they're having their own problems. But only 5 years. It feels like it's been around longer.
It does. That's probably because they've come out with 10 new additions to it in the past 5 years.
2 editions every year. Initially, it was a $3 billion industry. But part of the problem was that was the initial investment. Once you bought the game, you didn't really need to keep buying other versions of it. And then you had the problem of buying all those extra pieces of equipment, which kept getting more expensive.
Very expensive, up to like $150 for
yeah, for the new Rock Band 3, you can get one that's almost like a real guitar. You could potentially learn how to play guitar using it, but it'll cost more than your console, so just get guitar lessons, you'll probably be fine.
Yeah.
Instead of investing in that. So don't look for any more Guitar Hero games in the near future. For Rock Band, their future is also in question, although they have not made any announcement as to whether or not the Rock Band franchise is dead as well. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, it's kind of an interesting thing to hear. And we pause in a moment of silence to remember Rock Band. So moving on to Bulletstorm. We talked about this game last week, causing a storm of controversy. FoxNews.com released an article, said worst video game in the world.
No joke.
Yeah,
that's what they said.
And it was basically one of those articles like, won't someone think of the children? It's going to ruin our society. I mean, personally, I thought it was a strong reaction, and I can understand why it reacted the way it did. Bulletstorm, as we mentioned, graphic, gritty, gory, and has questionable morals.
but I think if society hasn't gotten ruined already from many other video games,
True.
Bulletstorm isn't going to be the one to take it down. It's just one of those games that parent discretion is definitely necessary before it comes into
gamer discretion
before it comes into the home.
Yeah.
Like,
and we already covered some of it on our last edition of the guide. So what we wanted to talk about here is like, well, if you're a concerned parent, what can you do? Or even a gamer who's trying to make discerning choices. Like, how do you make discerning choices? Because aside from the controversy, there's a lot of momentum with this game, and it's being pushed as the next big thing,
right?
With shooters. So how do you make discerning choices? Well, there's several ways.
Yeah, and the first and the easiest step for anybody is when you're shopping for a game, look at the back of it. There's always going to have the gameplay rating on there
from the ESRB, Entertainment Software Ratings Board,
and it'll tell you what the game has in it. It'll say there's language, blood, violence, nudity, all that stuff
all of which is included in Bulletstorm, by the way. All of the above.
Yes. And so that's your first step. To think, all right, well, do I want a game in my house that's going to be presenting me with all of these scenarios?
So educate yourself on what the ratings stand for, from E for everyone to M for mature, and what the ages are that are appropriate for that. If you got questions, we can help you out with that. The other thing that you can do if you want to be discerning, especially as a parent, and help out your kids make good choices with video games, know what games they're playing.
Yeah.
Get involved with what they're doing. Games are fun.
They are. It's very easy. Just be a part of
show some interest.
Their gameplay experience.
Yeah, don't be afraid to show some interest in what they're doing and be a part of it, and then you can help guide them, as a friendly counselor instead of a authoritative, you're going to mess up your life forever kind of figure, because it's important to make discerning choices, and it's important to have parents be involved with those choices.
Yeah.
But there's ways you can do it without coming off seeming like, you're being a jerk about it.
Yeah, and I think it's important, and it's really a group effort from the video game makers, from the rating system, from the parents, and from the video game player, all using and exercising judgment.
Be educated, be informed, be involved. And one of the ways that you can do that is with a little shameless self-promotion. Watch the guide. That's what we're here for.
That's what we like to do. We want to educate you about the games that are coming out, so you know what to expect.
And we do so from a Christian perspective, from a biblical worldview, and we want to just give you good information, and then you can make your own choices about games like Bulletstorm or all the others that we cover. So that's why we do what we do. So that's why we're here.
And if that interests you and you want to find out more about video games, and if you're a parent, specifically, we have a book that we want to give away today to help you with this.
Yeah, it's called What Every Parent Needs to Know About Video Games, and we'll give that away to the first person who gets in touch with us somehow.
But we're not going to tell you how.
Because we don't know how you can do it. We don't have a phone. We don't have Facebook.
You can send us an email. I'm Will at m88.org.
That's good. Or Johan at Calvary ABQ.
First person to get to us will get the
free book. All right, so that's going to wrap up the guide this week. Next week, we'll have more stuff to talk about. What are we going to talk about next week? Do we even know? We don't know.
More stuff.
More stuff.